Have you ever felt overwhelmed by negative emotions, frustration, anger, or even self-criticism, and wished you could find a way to feel more at peace? What if I told you that there's a simple but profound way to shift your mindset, not just for a moment, but in a way that brings lasting peace and deeper connections with others? Compassion is a powerful force. It's what helps us navigate relationships, calm our own minds, and face life's challenges with greater resilience. But let's be honest, it's not always easy to practice compassion, especially when life gets tough. Today, we're diving into timeless lessons from the Buddha, who dedicated his life to understanding human suffering and the path to inner peace. By drawing from his teachings, we'll explore how you can cultivate compassion for others, and just as importantly, for yourself. Through these practices, you'll find a way to approach life with a more open heart and a calm mind. So, let's explore these ancient yet practical lessons and discover how they can help us all bring a little more compassion into our lives. Understanding compassion in Buddhism. In Buddhism, compassion, or karuna, is a fundamental quality that we're encouraged to develop and embody throughout our lives. At its core, karuna is the heartfelt wish to ease the suffering of others. It's not just feeling sorry for someone or pitying them. It's about recognizing another person's pain as if it were your own and responding with a genuine desire to help. This understanding of compassion in Buddhism is powerful because it extends beyond emotions. It's about action. Compassion means being willing to act, even in small ways, to alleviate the difficulties and hardships others face. For the Buddha, karuna was an essential part of living a life that brings both personal peace and positive impact on others. Alongside qualities like metta, loving kindness, and mudita, sympathetic joy, compassion is one of the Brahma Viharas, or the Four Immeasurables. 4 mental states that lead to a mind full of love, balance, and equanimity. These qualities, especially compassion, are seen as boundless. They're meant to extend to everyone, without discrimination. By cultivating karuna, we start breaking down the walls between ourselves and others. We begin to see that everyone's experiences, joys, and struggles are interconnected. Cultivating compassion is essential, not only for harmonious relationships, but for inner peace as well. When we learn to look at others with compassion, we naturally feel less anger, jealousy, and judgment toward them. Compassion creates a kind of buffer between ourselves and negative emotions, letting us approach life's challenges with a calm and steady mind. Instead of being overwhelmed by frustrations, we can find meaning and even joy in helping others find relief from their suffering. Ultimately, compassion helps us to see the world through a more gentle, understanding lens. It allows us to bring more warmth into our interactions, and in turn, receive that warmth back from the world around us. Compassion, then, is not just about helping others. It's also deeply healing for ourselves. As we open our hearts to others' experiences, we let go of selfish desires, calm our anxieties, and create a sense of purpose. This ripple effect of compassion can transform our lives, strengthening our relationships, deepening our sense of connection, and creating a more peaceful mind that's resilient in the face of adversity. The Buddha's teachings on compassion. Central to the Buddha's teachings on compassion are the Four Immeasurables, or Brahma Viharas, which represent 4 qualities of the heart that lead to a life of love, connection, and peace. These qualities are metta, loving kindness, karuna, compassion, mudita, sympathetic joy, and upekkha, equanimity. Together, they form the foundation of a compassionate and balanced mind that can remain open and caring, even in difficult circumstances. Metta, or loving kindness, is the quality of unconditional love and goodwill toward all beings. This isn't a romantic or possessive love. It's a selfless and open-hearted love that seeks the well-being of others without expecting anything in return. When we practice metta, we're cultivating a sense of warmth and friendliness toward everyone, including those we may struggle to like. This ability to love unconditionally allows us to extend kindness even to strangers and those who may have wronged us, breaking down barriers and opening us up to deeper empathy and understanding. The second of the four immeasurables, karuna, or compassion, is a natural response to the suffering we see in others. When we witness someone in pain, compassion is the quality that makes us want to reach out and help. It's the impulse to ease suffering, not because we're seeking anything for ourselves, but simply because we feel a kinship with all beings. Mudita, or sympathetic joy, is the ability to be genuinely happy for others when they experience success, happiness, or good fortune. It's an antidote to envy and jealousy, encouraging us to celebrate the joys of others as if they were our own. Finally, upekkha, or equanimity, is the quality of remaining calm, balanced, and unshaken, regardless of what's happening around us. Equanimity allows us to view situations with clarity and without becoming overly attached to outcomes. It gives us the stability needed to approach both happiness and suffering with an even mind. Together, these four qualities transform our relationships with others and help us lead a life rooted in compassion and inner peace. One story that captures the Buddha's compassionate spirit is the tale of the Buddha and the wounded swan. As the story goes, when the Buddha was a young prince named Siddhartha, his cousin Devadatta shot a swan with an arrow, and it fell wounded in front of him. Siddhartha rushed to the swan's side, removed the arrow, and began to care for it. When Devadatta claimed the swan as his own since he had shot it, Siddhartha argued that life should belong to the one who tries to save it, not harm it. This simple story illustrates karuna in action. Siddhartha's instinct was to alleviate the swan's suffering, embodying compassion over competition or selfishness. This story reminds us that true compassion isn't passive, it's an active, often courageous response to the suffering we encounter. Practical steps to cultivate compassion. Cultivating compassion begins with mindfulness, a practice of becoming fully aware of our thoughts, feelings, and reactions. By observing our inner world with curiosity instead of judgment, we start to recognize moments when we may feel resentment, irritation, or judgment toward others. Through mindfulness, we can notice these thoughts and choose not to react to them automatically. Instead, we can ask ourselves what might be causing our negative emotions and approach those feelings with kindness. This simple but powerful act of observing our minds helps us understand our own struggles and, in turn, fosters empathy toward the struggles of others. Compassion often grows naturally when we become aware of our shared human experience. One of the most effective practices for developing compassion is metta bhavana, or loving kindness meditation. This meditation guides us to direct loving, kind intentions toward ourselves and others. To try this, find a comfortable seated position and close your eyes. Start by focusing on yourself, repeating phrases like, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be safe, may I live with ease." As you say these phrases, imagine filling yourself with warmth and kindness. After a few minutes, expand this compassion outward, first to loved ones, then to acquaintances, and finally to people you may struggle with, or even those you don't know. This widening circle of compassion helps break down feelings of separation, nurturing a deep sense of connection and goodwill toward everyone. Another important step in cultivating compassion is practicing self-compassion. Often, we're quick to show compassion to others, but harshly criticize ourselves. Turning compassion inward is about treating ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer a close friend. Start by noticing moments when you feel frustrated or disappointed in yourself. Instead of letting those feelings spiral into self-criticism, pause and remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes. It can help to use gentle self-talk. "I'm doing the best I can," or "It's okay to feel this way." By practicing self-compassion, we gradually release the weight of self-judgment and build a sense of self-worth and inner peace, which allows us to be more compassionate toward others as well. These practices, mindfulness, loving-kindness meditation, and self-compassion, help us cultivate a compassionate heart that radiates outward. The more we practice, the more natural it becomes to approach life and others with empathy, warmth, and understanding, creating a ripple effect of compassion in our relationships and communities. Compassion in daily life. Compassion isn't just something we cultivate during meditation or personal reflection. It's a quality we can bring into every part of our day. One of the easiest ways to practice compassion in daily life is through small acts of kindness. These are simple, actionable gestures that require little effort, but can make a big difference in someone else's day. Smiling at strangers, holding the door for someone, giving up your seat, or offering a compliment are all ways to show compassion in a spontaneous, meaningful way. Even something as simple as making eye contact and greeting someone can lift their spirits and create a sense of connection. When we start practicing these small acts consistently, compassion becomes a natural part of how we move through the world. Listening actively is another powerful way to bring compassion into our daily lives. When we take the time to listen fully to someone without interrupting or planning our response, we show that we genuinely care about their feelings and experiences. Active listening involves paying attention, putting aside distractions, and acknowledging what the other person is saying. This helps the other person feel valued and understood, which deepens our relationships and builds trust. Offering help without expecting anything in return, whether that's helping a colleague with a task or assisting a neighbor, can also create a ripple effect of kindness and inspire others to act compassionately. One of the biggest challenges to practicing compassion is responding with empathy in times of conflict. When we're faced with disagreements or hurt feelings, it's easy to react defensively or with anger, but choosing to respond with compassion can transform how we handle these difficult situations. When tensions rise, pause and remind yourself that the other person is likely acting from their own experiences, fears, or misunderstandings. Take a deep breath and focus on understanding their perspective, even if you don't agree with it. Responding with empathy doesn't mean you have to accept bad behavior, but it does mean approaching the conflict with a calm, understanding mindset. This approach can often de-escalate the situation and open the door to a more constructive conversation. By making compassion a daily practice, in both small gestures and challenging moments, we strengthen our ability to connect with others and foster a more peaceful mindset. Every act of kindness, every moment of empathy, brings us closer to a compassionate way of living that benefits not only others, but our own sense of purpose and inner harmony. Conclusion. As we've explored, compassion is a powerful tool that can transform both our inner world and our relationships with others. From understanding the Buddha's teachings to practicing loving-kindness meditation, small acts of kindness, and responding with empathy, we can make compassion a natural part of our lives. Every small step counts and brings us closer to a world filled with understanding and kindness. Thank you for watching. If you found these insights helpful, please consider sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know. Type 9 if you're ready to bring more compassion into your daily life, or 0 if you're still thinking it over. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. See you next time, and may your journey toward compassion bring peace and joy.